Happy Sunday. How you doing? Well, the heat's gone down a little bit, down into the low to mid 80s, but real bad humidity. Before I forget, I helped my neighbor out with his radiator. He's got an '02 Jeep Grand Cherokee. His radiator, he overheated it. The radiator. Say, I can get a radiator. No, at one time, we used to have a place in the city, Ray's Radiator. No relation to my friend Ray from Ray's Auto Parts and Machine Shop and Speed Shop. He had a pretty decent sized garage. And everybody brought their radiator there, when they had a leak. And you walked in there, man, it was stacked all over the place. Probably looked like inside a Java's house with boombox and Hot Wheels cars, except it was radiators. And he used to fix them. He'd go through all, the core, any of the bad cores that were bad, he'd cut them out. He used to do what they used to call rotting it. He'd flush it all out with an acid, get any rust and corrosion out of them, and then pressurize with water, find the leaks, and solder them and fix it and everything. And you had to wait a few days to get your radiator back, because back then to get a new radiator was kind of expensive, and to get one out of a junkyard, what you got wasn't much better than what you had that needed to be fixed. They were sitting around for a long time, they were rusty and corroded, and a lot of people didn't change their coolants the way they should, and they weren't in the best of shape. They were used for scrap metal, what they could get for their weight, on pennies on the pound. But then they became so cheap, and they don't even make them. I haven't seen one. The ones I've seen, the tanks are plastic now. That polypropylene plastic, like they make football helmets. You got the metal cores, the metal core, but the tanks, up top, upper, and lower, they're plastic and they're light and they do it cheap. I says, hey, listen, I'll call my friend Ray. So I call Ray, hey, you got a radiator for an '02 Jeep Grand Cherokee? Says, I can get him one. I can't get it here till tomorrow, though. So I told him, his name is John. I say, John, listen, my friend Ray can get you one. It'll be in tomorrow. He doesn't have it there in stock, but he'll get it out of the warehouse in Boston. He'll have somebody get it down for him, because he's ordering some other parts to get him down there. Get the order in early enough, they'll bring it with it. You'll have it tomorrow. He said, okay, thanks. How much? $67. 67 bucks. So, should be in today sometime. So he's got Ray's number. So I'll call you when it's in. So he's going to call John when it comes in. I'll go pick it up. John is capable of putting it in by himself. He just needed to get one. He didn't know where he could get a deal on one. So that took care of that. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, what am I doing, man? Java, my buddy, my number one fan, my number one retard. How are you today? Did you sleep well last night? That car, man, I'm telling you. You got to understand something. You got something stuck in your mind like, 57, 57, 57, like. There are some things that are not that great, regardless of the year. There are a lot of vehicles that, stand out with people. With Ford's 64 Galaxy, it's considered, the Galaxy 500, Galaxy XL. Pretty cool looking. You could get them with a 390. Was it 390 or 392? My father had one. I showed it on some pictures. It went to me and my brother when he died. I didn't want it. I don't like those type of cars, even though it was a cool car. It was a ragtop. And he bought it from a guy in South Carolina that supposed to be some real famous guy that restores Fords. He does, rotisserie, frame off, the whole 9 yards and whatnot. And he came across it somewhere in a classified, and he bought it. He paid some good money for it too. And he had it shipped up here. White, cream white, blue interior, black ragtop. He went right through it. Even the drivetrain had a 289 in it. The guy had put dual exhaust on it though. And it had like, not Magnaflows, but it had a nice sound to it, Ran well, 3-speed automatic on the tree. The car was like new, inside and out, ragtop, everything. That was his baby. Garage it for the winters. And then when he passed away, it went to me and my brother. I didn't want it. I really didn't. So I gave it to my brother. And he had it for a few years. He said, hey, Brian, would you mind if I sold it? I said, why? He says, the guy offered me 19 grand for it. I said, hey, it's yours, do what you want with it. He ended up selling it. The guy ended up taking, every summer here, we have 50s night downtown. The whole downtown closes down. Everybody brings their old classic cars. They dress up like the 50s. Women have their poodle skirts and bobby socks and all that. They have bands playing 50s music. It's a fun time, food entertainment. And the guy that bought it, he's been taking it there every year, with all the other classics and hot rods. And, so that's considered, a real desirable car for Ford guys. Plymouth, Dodge, they got their cars that are desirable. Chevy, you say 57, yeah, Chevy guy's gonna, gravitate towards that car. If they're a two-door, not a four-door. The four-door cars, even that Galaxy, a four-door, no one's gonna pay that much money for it. No one would really be interested in it. You might get that one oddball person, maybe some old guy that, he had one, his father had one when he was a kid. Oh, this one's just like my father had, it's a four-door. And he wants it mostly for sentimental reasons, not because it's a really desirable car. It's not gonna get a lot of attention going on the street. It might come from the front, hey look, a 64 Galaxy, and people can just buy, and they're like, oh, four doors. Come on, let's get real. I know some people don't like hearing this, but that's the reality of things. These are the cars that, when you find them, a barn find, or, a farm field find, and even these cars that have been sitting around for years and years and years that haven't been driven, they need a lot of work into them just to get them roadworthy and drivable. Everything dries up, from bushing stuff, you name it, everything dries up. Hoses, they require a lot of work. Some guys would be willing to put that work if they have the ability to do it themselves. They have the ways, the means, the money. A side project, a little bit here and there. These are guys that usually, that's what they do for a living. They're a mechanic, they're an auto body man. They own a shop, they own a garage. And they're willing to spend a couple of years on it. A little money here, a little money there, whatever parts they need. And a lot of these cars, like Job, you make a big deal, it's all original. A lot of these cars that have been restored, a lot of them are far from original. A lot of them, these guys get what's called a donor car. A lot of them, they look at it, well, it's got a decent engine. It might need a rebuild, but for now it runs. At least I can drive it for a while until I rebuild it. Yeah, the body's kind of okay. It doesn't need real bad, extensive body work on it, but it's got a bad rotted frame. A lot of them will look for a donor car just for a frame, and they scrap the rest of the fucking body. You know what I mean? That frame you got on that thing's all fucking rusted and rotted. That frame's a fucking mess too. Everything is a mess on that car from bumper to bumper. You'd have a hard time trying to sell it as a donor car to someone that has a two-door 57 that you can salvage some parts. He's doing a rebuild, oh, that thing's so bad. He needs fenders, he needs a hood, he needs a grill, he needs headlight bezels, he needs a bumper, he needs a windshield, maybe a seat, a dash, gauge cluster, steering column, things like that. A rear bumper, rear trunk lid would be the same. But pretty much everything from the windshield back is totally useless to him. Doors ain't gonna fit. Door panels ain't gonna fit. Even the trim pieces on the side, the bright work pieces that looks like a fin that runs up the side, that bright metal. Even that's different. On a two-door, it's one piece. On a four-door, now it's separated because you got a rear door there, so now it's in two pieces. What, you're gonna try to make that up and match it and put some fucking Bondo to make it look like one piece and stick on a two-door if a guy needs that piece? It's totally useless to a guy restoring a two-door. The fenders are all fucking rotted. Even the bumpers. You don't even have any chrome on those things. There was chrome at one time. All rusted and blistered. What do you do? Painted it with silver spray paint. That's your way of restoring things. Just fucking paint it. The hood's buckled. Rear bumpers. Ooh. Choked on my Choked on my spit, went down the wrong way. I hate it when that happens. The rear bumper's painted silver. Definitely can't use the front seat in that thing. Anybody tried sitting there? I'm surprised you haven't had to get a fucking tetanus shot from sitting your fat ass in there and all those rusty, rotted springs jab you in the ass. Next thing you know, you got fucking lockjaw, you know? The dash is a fucking mess. Can't use anything really from, windshield. Ask somebody if use a windshield. Even as a parts car, nobody would want that. They wouldn't have any usable. Your fenders are all rotted out. You paint over it, but you can see there's still holes there. There's daylight. It's a fucking mess. Definitely wouldn't be able to use the engine. You don't even know if that transmission functions or the rear end functions. Your idea of fixing brakes, like I said, look at it, poke it with your finger and say, oh, I don't want to touch that. It might fall apart. Oh, I guess they're still good. Those brakes don't work. Everything needs to be rebuilt. You're not going to do it. Why bother putting a brake line in if you got brakes that don't work? The car's worth about as much as you'll get for it rolling it across a scale when you get something like 4 or 5 cents a pound for the metal. That's all that car's worth. Maybe to you it means the world, because you're a pathetic, fat, slob piece of shit motherfucker with no fucking life. That's a miserable bastard that needs to impress people to feel good about yourself because you have no self-esteem, no fucking dignity, no fucking class. So you latch onto that to try to make yourself feel important. And now you want to make other people think that you're important because of that car. And all you're doing is making yourself look like a fool. I had somebody say to me, hey, what are you trying to do? Make Jabba look like a fool? I said, are you out of your fucking mind too? Why would I even have to try? Why would I even think about wanting to try to make Jabba look like a fool? You do it all by yourself. You do all the fucking work for me. I just need to talk about it. The same with Sanford. You're no different. Now you're taking things apart and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And yeah, we see what happens. We see what happens. There's some problems you can't spray paint away, pal. Spray paint ain't going to cure that fucking car. It's not worth anything. Like I said, what it's worth is what you're going to get in pennies for the pound for steel. A car like that someone wouldn't even want. There are many 4-door cars around that. They're worth something to someone restoring a 2-door car, not restoring another 4-door car. And that'll be dependent on those, all this number matching. And I was talking with Will about this the other day. To me, some people are over fanatical with cars. They really are. I haven't watched these car channels in a long time. But some of them, they're so fucking over the top. It's stupid. But these guys just trying to show off their fucking knowledge and expertise. Who's that one guy? Mark Wermer, Graveyard Cars. I think I caught it. I think most of them have been fucking canceled, right? People always get interested in it. Now they got a YouTube channel. They're doing it on YouTube. Because they got canceled. That reminded me of something. I remember one time, Sanford was yakking on the live. Somebody said, hey, Sanford, you should have your own TV reality show. You know what he said? And I heard this in my own ears. Oh, Discovery Channel approached me. They offered me my own reality show, but I turned it down. I don't want to be a sellout like these guys. These guys, and he started mentioning, that fucking drunken Texan there. What the fuck's his name? With Ass Monkey Garage and all that. These guys don't do anything, Danny the Cunt. These guys just talk. The show's about them and their personality. They don't even work on cars. They got people doing it for them. These guys are sellouts. Yeah, right. Sanford was offered a fucking TV reality show. Sanford, the fuck work to see this on cars? What good quality value worth of anything he's ever done from start to finish by himself? He hasn't. What he's done, every car he's had fucking help along the way. People doing, what I like to call the brunt of the work. Oh, he built an engine. We know how that turned out, This 10-second pass and this and that and everything else. Yeah. He was offered his own reality show. He turned it down, though. He doesn't want to be a sellout like these other guys. These guys don't know about cars. Sanford's all about image and personality. That's why people watch him. They like his stories they like his story time with his wife. They don't even have any interest. Even with these shows, it becomes about the personalities of the host of the show. Bikes American Chopper. That Tuttle family were a bunch of fucking losers, let me tell you. Most dysfunctional fucking family. We met them one time at Myrtle Beach for Bike Week. We went down. They had their tent set up and all other bike builders and whatnot. They were even arguing there. And their bikes are cartoonish, they're junk. I wouldn't trust riding one of their bikes. And a lot of people have said it. A lot of people have bought bikes, they're like, man, this thing's fucking junk. They're junk. You know? And they're cartoonish. Oh, look, I got a bike with, baseball bats for handlebars. Ain't that cool? What? You know what I mean? It's all gimmick. In the show, after a while, it wasn't even about bikes anymore. People tuned in to see Paulie and his old man throwing chairs at each other and yelling and screaming, and watching Mikey, that became a famous artist. You ever see his artwork? It looks like that shit that Jabba cooked up and put on a plate. Like Mikey ate what Jabba cooked and then puked it back up again on a fucking canvas, and that's what he's calling art, The only ones that did anything around it was fucking Rick and Vinny. You know what I mean? And they even got tired after a while of all the bullshit, you know what I mean? Those guys, I do give them credit. A lot of guys behind the scenes were doing the real work, the good work, quality work, and the host of the show. It became about the host of the show. It became about their personality. It became about the interaction amongst the people in their shop or whatever. Like same with Danny the Count and all of them. That's what it was about. All the cars and the bikes took a back seat to the personalities, and that's what Sampa's about. All his cars are junk. He knows it. People know it. And you know what? His pickle sniffers don't care. They want to tune in to see what Sampa's going to yak about next. They can't wait for Sunday Night Yak Sessions to listen to him and his wife go back and forth and giggling and laughing like a couple of fucking 13-year-olds that are thinking about how they might get laid that night, and they're all giddy, That's what it's about. Same with you, Jabba. Job, you should thank me. Not many people would be watching you if it wasn't for me. They wouldn't even know who the fuck you are. And the reason they tune in to watch you is for shits and giggles. To see what new boneheaded thing you'll do next. To see what you will fuck up next. To see what you will talk about as another major achievement for you that they're going to fucking laugh at. The way I laugh at and everyone else laughs at it, because it's fucking nothing. Really. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. They know it. I know it. You're the only one that doesn't seem to know it. You are your own worst enemy. But that car's not even worth anything to anyone that would need parts. They got a two-door. They need fenders. Your hood's buckled. They need chrome bright work. You probably get a windshield out of it, right? That would be about it. Fenders are rotted. Even the brackets where they mounted in, you don't even have brackets on there. They're rotted off. You got coat hangers stuck in there and screwed in. It's not worth anything to anyone, even as a donor car. And a lot of these cars you see, I've seen it, man. They got a donor, and even then it's cheap. I got it for $100. I need a frame. I'll tear everything off it. When I'm gonna get back in the scrap metal, I'll take to a yard. It'll pay for the frame. I paid for $100 for the whole car, but I need a frame. But I'm capable of doing the work, putting my body on this frame. It's for people that know what they're doing, Java. These are the people that get things done. Not guys like you. Even me, I wouldn't even attempt something like that. I know a lot of guys, wouldn't attempt something that extreme. We don't have the expertise, the experience in it. With me, it's mechanical. I don't know shit about bodywork. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Mechanical, I can hold my own. Oh yeah, I can hold my own mechanical-wise. Engine, transmission, rear end. Been there, done that. Even one of my 4-speeds. Back then they used to call it pro shifting, now they call it slick shifting, and then they came out with these planetary transmissions, the Winco, Doug Nash, clutchless. We use a clutch to launch it. After that you just yank it and shift it, And those are really expensive, and we used to try to do it the cheap way, I pulled my Muncie apart, man, even though it already had angle cut teeth. Every third tooth you file it down. And once the RPM got up on that thing, I just used the clutch to launch it. A lot of guys did. I wasn't the only one. You just fucking yank it. But you gotta yank it. It's gonna feel like it wants to grind. So you instinctively want to let go. No, you gotta learn how to shift it too. Once I launched that thing and I grabbed it, and I had a vertical gate here shifter in that thing. So it was up, down, up, down. You yank it. As soon as you feel like it wants to grind, like it don't want to go, you fucking yank. Second, bang, third, bang, fourth. That's for racing. Around town, I'd use the clutch to shift it. But for racing now, you don't need to use the clutch, only to launch it. A lot of guys did that. It was pretty common practice back in the day because Olenco and the Doug Nash, transmission planetaries were real fucking expensive, and we didn't have the money, so we made do with what we knew how to do ourselves. You ever pull the transmission apart and pro shifted it? You ever put a clutch in? You swapped out a gear set in the rear end? Have you done anything? Your idea of working on things and fixing it is to fucking look at it, point at it with your finger, touch it, and say, like those brakes in the back. You poked and touched it. Oh, I don't want to touch it. It might fall apart. Doesn't that tell you if it's that fucked up, you're so afraid to touch it that the fucking things don't work? That's what you're going to slap those. What's wrong? You know, I drank my coffee too fast. Hold on. They're all fixed. You looked at it, talked about how badly deteriorated it was, so bad. If you're afraid to just touch it because it's going to fall apart, doesn't that tell you it's no good? So why the fuck you want to keep them in there? You know you're never going to drive that car. You know that engine's never going to start and run up. You know that. That's why you're not too concerned about brakes and this and that, but you'll talk about what you're going to do, what to make yourself sound very knowledgeable with cars. Anyway, that's enough said for today. So, but hey, you keep on dreaming, pal. And if it makes you feel good, wake up in the morning, roll out of bed, fall on the floor, start reaching for something to grab to be able to stand up, scratch your ass, burp and fart, waddle outside to look at that 57, because that's what makes you feel important. Hey, more power to you. Have a great day. Have fun and stay safe.